Captain Jake Morrison stared at the display screen in front of him. The numbers made no sense. His ship, the UES Pathfinder, had been searching empty space for 3 weeks. They were looking for new planets that humans could live on. So far, they had found nothing but rocks and gas. "Captain, you need to see this," said Lieutenant Commander Lisa Hayes. She was the science officer on the ship. Her voice sounded excited and worried at the same time. Jake walked over to her station. Lisa was pointing at her screen. It showed a big blob of energy in the middle of nowhere. The energy was moving in patterns that looked almost alive. "What am I looking at?" Jake asked. "I don't know," Lisa said. "It's huge. The computer says it's about 12 kilometers long. That's bigger than any ship we've ever built." Commander Ben Carter joined them. He was the military expert on the ship. His job was to keep everyone safe. "Could it be a space station?" he asked. "No." Lisa shook her head. "Space stations don't move like this, and they don't give off this kind of energy. This thing is different." Dr. Amy Walsh came running from her lab. She was out of breath. "Captain, I've been checking our history files. Every alien race we know has stories about something like this." Jake looked at her. "What kind of stories?" Amy sat down and pulled up files on her tablet. "The Zephyrians call it the Silent Death. They say it appears without warning and entire planets just disappear. The Korthak Empire has legends about the World Ender. They think it destroyed their homeworld thousands of years ago." "And the Ethereal Collective?" Ben asked. "The Ethereals were beings made of pure energy. They were very old and very wise. They call it the Reaper of Stars," Amy said. Her voice was quiet. "They won't even talk about it. When I asked, they just said some things should stay buried in space." Jake felt a chill run down his back. In all his years as a captain, he had never seen aliens afraid of anything. The Korthak were warriors who fought everything. The Zephyrians were traders who went anywhere for profit. The Ethereals had seen the birth and death of stars. If all of them were scared of this thing, it must be very dangerous. "Captain," called out the ship's pilot, Tony Rodriguez. "The object is not moving away from us, it's just sitting there." Jake looked at the main screen. The mysterious object was still there. It looked like it was waiting for something. "Can we get a better look at it?" Jake asked. Lisa worked at her controls. The screen changed. Now they could see the object more clearly. It was not just big, it was massive. The ship was black and silver. Its surface seemed to move like liquid metal. There were no lights on it, no signs of life. "It looks dead," Ben said. "But it's not," Lisa replied. "I'm reading energy deep inside it. Something is still working in there." Jake made a decision. "Take us closer. But be ready to run if anything happens." The Pathfinder moved toward the giant ship. As they got closer, they could see more details. The ship's hull had strange patterns on it. They looked like writing, but not from any language anyone knew. "Captain," Amy said, "I'm not finding any match for these symbols in our database. This ship was not built by any race we know." "How is that possible?" Ben asked. "We know all the major civilizations in the galaxy." "Maybe we don't," Jake said quietly. They were now very close to the giant ship. The Pathfinder looked like a tiny bug next to it. The mysterious vessel had ports and openings along its sides. Some looked like weapons. Others might be for docking smaller ships. "Life support readings?" Jake asked. "There's atmosphere inside," Lisa reported. "The air is breathable. For humans, temperature is normal. But Captain, there's something strange. The ship's interior is much bigger than the outside should allow." "That's impossible," Ben said. "I know," Lisa replied. "But that's what the scans show." Jake studied the giant ship. Every instinct told him to leave, to take his crew far away from this thing and never come back. But he was an explorer. His job was to find new things and learn about them. This was the biggest discovery in human history. "Sir," Tony called out, "I'm getting some kind of signal from the ship. It's very weak, but it's there." "What kind of signal?" Jake asked. "I don't know. It's not like anything in our communication systems, but it feels like it's trying to talk." To us. Amy looked up from her tablet. Captain, I've been reading more about the legends. Every story says the same thing. The ship only appears when something terrible is about to happen. It's like a warning. Or maybe it's the cause, Ben said. His hand moved to his weapon. Jake thought about his options. They could leave and report what they found. Let someone else deal with it. Or they could try to learn more. The galaxy was full of dangers. If this ship was one of them, they needed to understand it. Captain, Lisa said. The energy readings are getting stronger. Something is waking up in there. Jake made his choice. Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them what we found. If we don't report back in 24 hours, they should send a fleet. Sir, are we going aboard? Ben asked. Jake nodded. We're explorers. This is what we do. But we go carefully. Small team. Safety first. The crew prepared for the most dangerous mission of their lives. None of them knew that they were about to discover a secret that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The Celestial Reaper was waiting for them, and it had been waiting for a very long time. Captain Jake Morrison put on his spacesuit. His hands were shaking a little. He had explored many strange places, but this felt different. The giant ship floating outside their window looked like it was sleeping. But Lisa's scans showed something was alive deep inside it. Team ready? Jake asked over the radio. Ready, Captain, said Dr. Amy Walsh. She carried special tools to study alien technology. Her job was to figure out how things worked. Systems check complete, reported Ben Carter. He had enough weapons to fight a small war. His job was to keep everyone safe. All good here, said Lisa Hayes. She would stay on the Pathfinder and guide them through the unknown ship. Chief Petty Officer Kate Johnson was their security expert. She nodded to Jake. Let's go see what's waiting for us. The small shuttle moved away from the Pathfinder. As they got closer to the giant ship, Jake could see details that the main sensors had missed. The hull looked smooth from far away. Up close, it had tiny patterns everywhere. They looked like circuits, but they moved slowly across the surface. The hull is alive, Amy whispered. Those patterns are changing. Is that good or bad? Kate asked. I don't know, Amy replied. They found an opening in the side of the ship. It was big enough for their shuttle to fit through. As they approached, the opening grew larger. The ship was making room for them. That's not normal, Ben said. Nothing about this is normal, Jake replied. The shuttle entered the giant ship. Inside was a huge space filled with soft blue light. The walls curved up and disappeared into darkness above them. Jake could not see the ceiling. Where is that light coming from? Kate asked. Amy checked her instruments. The walls themselves are glowing. The material is something I've never seen before. They landed the shuttle on a flat area that looked like it was made for landing. As soon as they touched down, lights began turning on in a path leading away from their ship. It knows we're here, Lisa said over the radio from the Pathfinder. Energy readings are increasing all over the ship. Jake opened the shuttle door. The air tasted clean and fresh. It was warm and comfortable. Atmosphere is good, he reported. We're going in. The team followed the lighted path. Their footsteps echoed in the huge space. The corridor they entered was wide enough for 10 people to walk side by side. The Kieman walls were covered in symbols that seemed to glow and fade in patterns. Are those words? Kate asked. Amy was recording everything with her scanner. Maybe, but they're not from any language we know. Wait. She stopped walking. Some of these symbols look familiar, very familiar. From where? Jake asked. I'm not sure yet, let me check. Amy worked with her computer. Captain, some of these match very old human writing. Ancient stuff from thousands of years ago. That's impossible, Ben said. Humans have only been in space for a few hundred years. They kept walking. The corridor led to a room that was even bigger than the landing area. In the center was a tall pillar made of the same glowing material as the walls. Around it were smaller pillars with flat surfaces covered in symbols. Looks like some kind of control room, Jake said. Amy approached one of the smaller pillars. As she got close, the symbols on its surface began glowing brighter. It's responding to me, she said. Don't touch anything, Ben warned. But Amy was already reaching toward the surface. The moment her finger touched it, the entire room came alive. Lights raced along the walls. The central pillar began spinning slowly. And from somewhere deep in the ship came a sound like a giant heartbeat. Amy, what did you do? Jake asked. I don't know, she said. Her eyes were wide with fear and wonder. But something is waking up. Back on the Pathfinder, Lisa was watching her instruments go crazy. Captain, energy levels are increasing fast. The whole ship is coming online. Can we get out? Jake asked. The opening we came through is still there, Lisa replied. But Captain, I'm reading something else. The ship is sending signals into space. Very powerful signals. To who? Ben asked. Everyone, Lisa said. Every ship, every station, every planet in this sector is going to detect this. In the control room, new lights were turning on all around them. The walls showed images of stars and planets. Some Jake recognized. Others were completely unknown. Amy was still touching the control surface. She could not pull her hand away. Something is talking to me, she said. Not with words, with thoughts. What is it saying? Jake asked. It's asking questions. Who we are, where we come from, why we're here. Amy's voice sounded strange. It's looking through my memories. Kate grabbed Amy's shoulder. We need to go, now. But when Kate tried to pull Amy away from the control, nothing happened. Amy was stuck to it somehow. I can't move, Amy said. But it's okay, it's not hurting me, it's just curious. The heartbeat sound was getting louder. Jake could feel it in his chest. Around them, more control surfaces were lighting up. The room was filling with a soft humming sound. Captain, Lisa called over the radio. I'm detecting ships approaching our position. Lots of them. Different species. They're all heading this way fast. Jake felt his stomach drop. If other races were coming, it meant they had detected the signals too. And if the legends were true, they would not be coming to say hello. How long before they get here? Jake asked. 2 hours, maybe 3, Lisa replied. Amy suddenly gasped and pulled her hand away from the control surface. The humming stopped, but the light stayed on. What happened? Jake asked. It let me go, Amy said. She looked shaken. But I learned something. This ship has been waiting for humans to find it. Why humans? Ben asked. I don't know, Amy replied. But it knows us. It knows things about us that we don't even know about ourselves. Kate was checking her weapons. We need to leave before those other ships get here. Wait, Amy said. There's more. The ship showed me something. A memory, I think. There was a war. A terrible war. This ship was built to fight in it. Who built it? Jake asked. Amy shook her head. I couldn't understand that part. But the war was against something that wanted to destroy everything. Every planet, every star, every living thing. Jake looked around the control room. The ship was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. If it was built for war, it was the most powerful weapon he had ever seen. Did we win the war? He asked. Amy was quiet for a long moment. I don't think the war is over. The sound of the heartbeat filled the room again. But now it sounded different. Not like something waking up, like something getting ready to fight. Captain Jake Morrison ran through the corridors of the giant ship. Behind him, Amy, Ben, and Kate followed as fast as they could. The ship was changing around them. Walls that had been solid were now opening to reveal new passages. Lights were flashing in patterns that hurt their eyes. Lisa, what's happening out there? Jake called into his radio. Captain, you need to get back here now. Lisa's voice was full of panic. I count 47 ships heading our way. They're from every major race in the galaxy, and they're all armed for war. Jake's team reached their shuttle. As they climbed aboard, the ship around them groaned like a living thing. The heartbeat sound was now so loud they could feel it in their bones. Who's leading the fleet? Jake asked as Tony started the shuttle engines. The Zephyrians have 12 warships. The Korthak Empire sent 15 battlecruisers. Even the Ethereal Collective is here with their energy ships, Lisa reported. Captain, I've never seen so many enemies working together. The shuttle flew out of the giant ship and back to the Pathfinder. As soon as they were aboard, Jake rushed to the bridge. On the main screen, he could see ships appearing from hyperspace jumps. They formed a huge circle around the mysterious vessel. "They're surrounding us," Ben said. Admiral Greg Phillips appeared on the communication screen. He was the head of the Coalition fleet. His face looked tired and worried. "Captain Morrison, you need to get out of there immediately," the Admiral said. "Every government in the galaxy is demanding the destruction of that ship. They're calling it a threat to all life." "Admiral, we've barely started studying it," Jake replied. "We need more time." "You don't have time," Admiral Phillips said. "High Chancellor Vexus Thera of the Zephyrian Trade Council is personally commanding their fleet. Warlord Krextar is leading the Korthak ships. These are not people who negotiate." On another screen, Jake could see the alien fleets moving into attack positions. The Zephyrian ships were sleek and silver. The Korthak vessels were big and covered in weapons. The ethereal ships looked like balls of pure light. "They're preparing to fire," Lisa reported. "All of them." Jake made a decision. "We're not leaving. If they want to destroy this ship, they'll have to go through us." "Captain, that's suicide," Ben said. "Our ship has no weapons that could stop even one of those fleets." "Maybe," Jake said. "But we're humans. We don't run from things we don't understand. We try to learn from them." The communication system crackled. A new voice came through. It was cold and mechanical. It spoke in perfect English. "Human vessel Pathfinder. This is High Chancellor Vexathara. You will move away from the artifact immediately or be destroyed with it." Jake opened the channel. "This is Captain Morrison. We are conducting a scientific study of this vessel. We are not a threat to anyone." Another voice cut in. This one was deep and angry. "Human fool. I am Warlord Krextar. That thing has haunted our nightmares for 1,000 generations. It must be destroyed." A third voice joined them. It sounded like music and wind. "We are the Ethereal Collective. The artifact you have awakened should never have been disturbed. Its very existence threatens the balance of reality." Jake looked at his crew. They were scared but determined. "We're staying," he said. The alien fleets began moving closer. Jake could see weapon systems charging on dozens of ships. In a few minutes, they would all fire at once. The mysterious ship would be destroyed, and probably the Pathfinder with it. But then something unexpected happened. The giant ship's surface began to change. Areas that had looked like hull plating moved aside. Underneath were weapons unlike anything Jake had ever seen. They were huge and covered in the same flowing patterns as the rest of the ship. "Captain," Amy said, "the ship is defending itself." The mysterious vessel's weapons began to glow, but they didn't fire at the alien fleets. Instead, they created a barrier of energy around both the giant ship and the Pathfinder. The barrier looked like a soap bubble made of starlight. "What is that?" Kate asked. "Some kind of shield," Lisa said, checking her instruments. "It's protecting us too." High Chancellor Vexathara's voice came over the radio again. "All ships open fire, destroy the artifact and anything protecting it." The alien fleets fired together. Hundreds of energy beams and missiles hit the barrier around the ships. The space around them lit up like a star. The attack was powerful enough to destroy a planet. But when the light faded, the barrier was still there. It had not even flickered. "Impossible," came Warlord Krextar's voice. "Nothing can withstand that much firepower." The mysterious ship began to move. It turned slowly until it was facing the largest group of alien vessels. Jake could feel the power building inside it. "It's going to fight back," Ben said. But the ship didn't attack. Instead, it began to communicate, not with radio signals, but directly into the minds of everyone in the fleets. Jake could hear it too. The voice was ancient and tired. "Why do you fear me?" the voice asked. "I am not your enemy. I have never been your enemy." The alien fleets stopped firing. Jake could hear confused voices on the communication channels. "Who are you?" High Chancellor Vexathara asked. "I am what remains of those who came before," the voice replied. "I was built to protect, not to destroy." But you have forgotten the real enemy. What enemy? Warlord Krextar demanded. The ship's voice became sad. They come from the spaces between stars, between realities. They consume everything they touch. They turned my builders to dust and scattered their atoms across the void. Jake felt a chill. Who built you? He asked. Those who shared your form, human. Those who thought as you, think. Those who dreamed as you dream. Amy gasped. You're saying humans built you? Not the humans of this time, the voice replied. The humans of a time that was erased. They gave everything to create me, their lives, their world, their very existence, so that when their children's children faced the same darkness, they would not face it alone. The alien fleets were silent. Even the proud Korthak and the wise ethereals had no words. The darkness is coming again, the ship continued. I can feel it stirring in the void. It knows I have awakened. It knows the children of my builders have found me. Soon, it will come to finish what it started. Jake looked at the screens showing the massive alien fleet surrounding them. Ships that had come to destroy the mysterious vessel. Ships whose crews now faced a truth that changed everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. How long do we have? Jake asked. Not long, the ship replied. But perhaps long enough to prepare, if you will let me teach you what your ancestors died to preserve. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder. Around him, the alien fleets waited in silence. The giant ship floated peacefully in the center of their circle. But Jake knew the peace would not last long. Captain, Amy said. She was holding her scanner and looking confused. Something is happening to the humans on our ship. Our DNA is changing. What do you mean changing? Jake asked. I don't know how to explain it, Amy replied. It's like parts of our genetic code that were sleeping or waking up, parts that shouldn't exist. The voice of the mysterious ship spoke to them again. It sounded like an old friend now, not a stranger. The changes are necessary, the ship said. Your ancestors built safeguards into your species. When the darkness returns, you will need abilities that normal humans do not have. Ben Carter checked his weapons for the 10th time. What kind of abilities? You will see, the ship replied. But first you must understand what you are truly fighting. The space around them began to change. The stars seemed to bend and twist. Reality itself looked like it was breaking apart in places. What's happening? Kate Johnson asked. Lisa Hayes was working frantically at her station. The fabric of space is tearing. Something is coming through from somewhere else. Hi, Chancellor. Vexthara's voice came over the radio. Her usual calm was gone. All ships report. Are you seeing this? Confirmed, replied Warlord Krextar. Space is breaking apart. The ethereal collective's musical voice sounded afraid for the first time anyone could remember. We sense something terrible approaching, something that should not exist. Through the tears in space, dark shapes began to appear. They were not ships, they were not machines, they looked like holes in reality itself. Darkness so complete that looking at them hurt. The Devourers, the mysterious ship said. They consume everything, matter, energy, time, memory. They leave, nothing behind but emptiness. Jake watched the dark shapes move toward them. There were dozens of them. Each one was bigger than the largest alien warship. How do we fight something like that, he asked. Your ancestors found a way, the ship replied. But the cost was everything they were. They chose to erase themselves from time rather than let the Devourers consume all reality. Amy suddenly cried out in pain. She fell to her knees, holding her head. Something is happening to me, she said. Jake knelt beside her. What's wrong? I can see things, Amy said. Memories that aren't mine. A world covered in cities. People who look like us. And then darkness. Terrible darkness. The alien fleets began moving into defensive positions, but their weapons were useless against the Devourers. Energy beams passed. Right through them. Missiles disappeared into their darkness without exploding. We cannot fight them with normal weapons, said High Chancellor Vexithara. Then what do we do? Warlord Krextar asked. The mysterious ship began to glow brighter. There is a way, but it requires trust. The humans must take command of this vessel. They are the only ones who can control its true power. Never, Krextar shouted. The Korthak Empire does not bow to inferior races. Your pride will doom us, all, the Ethereal Collective said. We can sense the truth in the artifact's words. The humans are connected to it in ways we cannot understand. Jake made a decision. Amy, can you interface with the ship again? Amy looked up at him. Her eyes were different now. They seemed to glow with inner light. Yes, but Captain, if I do this, I might not be human anymore. What do you mean? Jake asked. The ship needs someone to merge with its systems, to become part of it, to sacrifice their humanity to save everyone else. The Devourers were getting closer. Space continued to tear around them. Soon they would reach the fleets. I'll do it, Amy said. No, Jake replied. There has to be another way. There is no other way, the ship said sadly. This is why your ancestors built me. Someone must pay the price. Ben Carter stepped forward. I'll do it. I'm a soldier. This is what soldiers do. It has to be me, Amy said. I'm the only one who has already connected with the ship. I'm the only one it will accept. Jake wanted to stop her, but he knew she was right. Around them, the alien fleets were starting to panic. Ships were trying to run away, but the Devourers were too fast. Amy walked to the center of the bridge. She placed her hands on a console that had not been there before. The ship had grown it just for her. Tell my family I tried to save everyone, she said. Amy pressed her palms against the console. Light raced up her arms and into her body. She screamed, but it was not a scream of pain. It was a scream of transformation. The Pathfinder began to change. It merged with the mysterious ship, becoming part of something larger. Jake and his crew found themselves in a new control room that was both alien and familiar. Amy was gone. Her place was something that looked like her, but was made of light and energy. I am still me, she said. But her voice now came from everywhere at once. But I am also the ship. I am Guardian Protocol 7. I am the weapon your ancestors died to create. The Devourers reached the alien fleets. Ships began to disappear. Not destroyed, but consumed. Erased from existence as if they had never been. Now, Amy said. Now we fight. The ship's weapons came alive. But these were not normal weapons. They fired beams of pure creation. Where the beams hit the Devourers, reality repaired itself. The dark creatures screamed with voices that hurt to hear. It's working, Jake said. But there were too many Devourers. For everyone they destroyed, 2 more came through the tiers in space. The portal, Amy said. We have to close the portal they're coming from. High Chancellor Vexathera's voice came over the radio. What do you need from us? Protection, Amy replied. I need to get close to the main tear in space, but I'll be vulnerable while I work. You'll have it, Warlord Krextar said. The Korthak Empire stands with you. As does the Trade Council, Vexthara added. We will shield you with our energy, the Ethereal Collective promised. Jake watched as former enemies worked together for the first time in galactic history. All because of a ship built by humans who no longer existed and operated by a woman who had given up her humanity to save everyone. The combined fleets formed a protective wall around the mysterious ship as Amy guided it toward the largest tear in space. The Devourers swarmed around them, but the alien ships held the line. Almost there, Amy said. But Jake, when I close the portal, the feedback might destroy the ship, destroy me. There has to be another way, Jake said. Maybe there is, Amy replied, but we'll find out together. The ship reached the tear in space. Amy began the process of sealing it. Reality bent around them as 2 universes touched for the last time. The space around the giant tear was breaking apart. Captain Jake Morrison held onto his chair as reality twisted and bent around them. Amy, now part of the ship, was fighting to close the portal while Devourers poured through from the dark space. Beyond. Hull stress at maximum. reported Lisa Hayes. The ship can't take much more of this. Through the torn fabric of space, Jake could see into the realm of the Devourers. It was a place of absolute darkness, where nothing could exist. No stars, no planets, no life, just hungry emptiness that wanted to consume everything. "Amy, how long do you need?" Jake called out. Her voice came from everywhere in the ship. "I'm trying, but they're fighting me. The Devourers don't want the portal closed." Outside, the alien fleets were taking heavy losses. Zephyrian ships vanished into nothingness. Korthak battlecruisers were being torn apart by creatures of living darkness. The ethereal collective's energy ships were flickering like dying stars. "We can't hold them much longer," came High Chancellor Vexithera's voice, over the radio. Half her fleet was gone. Warlord Krextar's transmission was full of static. "My warriors are dying, but we will not retreat. Close that portal, human." Jake watched his instruments as more ships disappeared. Soon there would be no one left to protect them. "There has to be something we can do," Ben Carter said. He was checking weapon systems that seemed too advanced for any human to understand. "Wait," Lisa said. "Captain, I'm reading something strange. The ship is drawing power from us, from all the humans on board." Jake felt it too, a pulling sensation, like something was reaching into his mind. "Amy, what are you doing?" "I'm sorry." Amy's voice was sad. "I need more power to close the portal. I have to use the connection your ancestors built into human DNA." Jake understood. The ship was not just using their bodies, it was using their souls, their life force, everything that made them human. "Will it kill us?" Kate Johnson asked. "I don't know," Amy replied. "But if we don't try, everyone dies anyway." Jake made the hardest decision of his life. "Do it." "Captain, no," Ben said. "We're explorers," Jake replied. "We take risks so others don't have to. This is our job." Jake felt the ship reach deeper into his mind. He could see memories that were not his own. Humans from the erased timeline. People who looked just like him and his crew. They had faced the same choice and made the same decision. The ship began to glow brighter. Amy was using the combined will and strength of every human aboard to fight the Devourers. Jake felt his life force flowing into the ship's systems. "It's working," Lisa said weakly. "The portal is starting to close." The Devourers sensed what was happening. They attacked, with desperate fury. The largest one, a creature of pure darkness bigger than a moon, reached through the portal toward the ship. "Look out!" Ben shouted. The creature's touch would erase anything it hit from existence. But Amy was ready. The ship's main weapon fired directly into the creature's center. The beam of pure creation met the darkness of pure destruction. For a moment, the two forces were equal. Light and dark, creation and destruction, existence and void. Jake could feel Amy struggling to maintain the balance. "I can't hold it," she said. "You're not alone," came a new voice. Jake looked at his screens in amazement. More ships were arriving, human ships from Earth and the colonies. The entire human fleet was coming through hyperspace jumps. "This is Admiral Greg Phillips," came the familiar voice. "All human vessels link with the Celestial Reaper. Give it everything you have." Hundreds of human ships connected to the mysterious vessel. Thousands of human minds joined with Amy's consciousness. The ship blazed with the combined will of an entire species. The portal began to collapse. The Devourers were being pulled back into their dark realm. The largest creature made one final attempt to escape, but Amy's enhanced power was too strong. "Goodbye," Amy said. "Remember us." The portal snapped shut with a sound like the universe breaking. The Devourers were gone. The tears in space healed themselves. Reality returned to normal, but the cost had been enormous. Jake felt weak and tired. Around him, his crew was barely conscious. They had given almost everything to save the galaxy. "Amy?" Jake called out weakly. "I'm still here," her voice replied, but it was fainter now. Changed, but still here. The alien fleets that had survived began to regroup. Jake could hear voices on the communication channels. They were not angry anymore. They were grateful. "The humans saved us all." High Chancellor Vexithara said. They proved themselves worthy. Warlord Krextar agreed. The Korthak Empire offers alliance. We pledge our energy to their cause, the ethereal collective added. Admiral Phillips's ship approached the Celestial Reaper. Captain Morrison, are you all right? We're alive, Jake replied. Barely. Over the next few hours, Jake learned what had happened. The moment the portal opened, every psychic species in the galaxy had felt it. The threat was so great that ancient enemies had put aside their differences. The Galactic Coalition had been reformed with humans as the leaders. Why us? Jake asked Amy. Because your ancestors designed it that way, she replied. They knew that someday their children would need to unite the galaxy against the darkness. They built the potential for leadership into human DNA. Jake looked at the stars through the ship's windows. Everything had changed. Humanity was no longer just another species trying to find its place in the galaxy. They were the guardians now, the protectors of all life. What happens next? Lisa asked. We explore, Jake said. But now we explore together, all of us. The Celestial Reaper began to move through space. It was no longer a mysterious ship that frightened everyone. It was a symbol of hope. A mobile base where humans and aliens worked side by side to defend the galaxy. Amy's consciousness flowed through every system of the ship. She was no longer fully human, but she was not alone. Thousands of human minds shared the burden with her. And every day, more volunteers joined the connection. Jake stood on the bridge of the greatest ship ever built. Around him, officers from dozens of species worked together. In the depths of space, other ancient human ships were awakening, responding to signals from their sister vessel. Captain, Amy said, I'm detecting another portal forming in the Andromeda sector. Jake smiled. Set course for Andromeda. Let's go save another galaxy. The Celestial Reaper turned toward the distant stars. Behind it followed the greatest fleet in galactic history. Humans and aliens united by a common purpose, to stand guard against the darkness, to protect all life, to explore the infinite possibilities of the universe, and in the depths of space, in dimensions beyond normal reality, other Devourers sensed their defeat. They began to prepare for the next battle. But for the first time in cosmic history, they were afraid. Because humanity had taught the galaxy something new, the power of sacrifice, the strength of unity, and the courage to face the unknown together.